Oh, okay.
I've got a little line here, which I think is the best spot to run the fan for demonstration, which is 1/4 of an inch negative static pressure. And if you come around here, this is 100%. I'm going to set that to 100% recirc air, so there's no outside air coming in. So when we're over here, the building pressure is 0. Building pressure is 0 with 100% recirc, which is logical. The negative static pressure at the inlet to the return or the evaporator fan is minus 0.25 inches. The pressure at the inlet to the return damper, which is the pressure that the typical relief damper is, first stage relief damper is subject to, is the same, minus 0.25. Again, because there's no pressure drop across the return damper, so both pressures would be same. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to crack the outside air damper to get to a point where the building is pressurized, which is over 0.06. Hey Scott, you can just tell me when we get to 0.06.
You're there right now. 0.06.
Okay, so we're at point, the building now is pressurized at 0.06. We can see that the fresh air damper is hardly open. Those things are sucked shut. The reason they're sucked shut is the negative static pressure at the inlet to the return damper, which is at the first stage relief dampers, is minus 0.11 inches. The pressure at the inlet to the evaporator fan is minus 0.11 inches. And again, all that's showing us is there's no pressure drop across the return damper, which is logical because it's almost full open. And the building pressure is 0.06 to 0.07, which is a problem. That's, you'd have doors standing open at that point. So I'm going to open up the return damper to, let's have a 0.1. So that's 0.14 inches. Still, there's no air coming out. So we got major building pressurization problems. The pressure at the inlet to the return damper is minus 0.04, 0.03. So still it can't open up because it's under negative pressure. Pressure at the evaporator fan is minus 0.06. So there's about 0.02 inches of pressure drop across the return damper. And the building pressure is at 0.12 to 0.13. That's very, very pressurized. So I'm going to open up the return to the point where we get just a tiny bit of relief air. Okay, there's a tiny, tiny bit of air coming out. Hardly any. And the pressure is about 0, so that makes sense. Finally, the pressure that first stage relief damper is seeing is about neutral. It's about it building out ambient pressure, which means it can start to relieve. Pressure at the evaporator fan is minus 0.05, which means there's about 0.05 inches across the return damper. And the building pressure is about 0.14 inches. So I'm going to open up 100%. So we do have some air coming out of there. 100% open. The first stage relief damper is seeing about 0.03 inches of positive pressure. That's why we're getting air coming out. The evaporator fan is minus 0.03. So there's a lot of pressure drop across the return damper. And the building pressure is 0.15. So even though you're getting air coming out, the building's still pressurized. We got problems. So when we did this whole thing, the second stage relief damper has been fully closed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide that damper open, fully open. So I've taken it out to full open position, which basically activates that second stage relief damper section. So this is still relieving air. That's still at around the same pressure, 0.03 inches. That's about 0.03 inches negative. But the building pressures dropped to about 0.03 inches. So it went from 0.15 inches to 0.03 inches. And that's how, basically, so the fundamental thing is we've got no influence with the evaporator fan on the second stage relief damper, which means it's able to relieve air. And that's as simple as it is.
That's kind of neat. Great closer. That was pretty good, actually.
You should be.
Did you
Sign
hear me?
you up.
That was pretty
I'm gonna
good.
get you an agent.